What's up, boys? So you can see that I started stripping down this engine. I didn't really get too far. I really want to get the exhaust manifold off, but the nuts on here are like impossible to work with. Like, I really don't know how to get these nuts off because there's not enough room right here between the stud and the manifold to get a socket. You can't put a regular box wrench on it because there's nowhere. You're just gonna run into the head or the manifold. Even using like one of those little offset wrenches, like this guy, won't work either, because again, you can't even slide it on there. So you'd have to like cut the stud to be able to slide this on here. The only possible solution that we can think of is to use a crow's foot. It's not even certain, because look how much room right here I have to put a crow's foot. I have to go between this piece and between that stud. I'm gonna go get a crow's foot set. The bottom ones all seem like pretty much a straight shot to get to them, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 that are gonna be tough. Valve cover off. Everything looks fine up here. There's nothing really to note. These are supposed to be cat cams. I haven't seen like a part number or anything for me to verify that yet. I do have the other engine outside. I can go take a look at that if I want to, just to compare the two cams. These cams are gonna have to come out for me to get the head off, because I can't get to the head studs from here. Then over here, everything looks nice and clean. Just in that coolant flange, you can see all of that corrosion in there. I got the clutch off too. The clutch looks pretty much brand new. Flywheel looks really good too. Here's the flywheel, looks pretty much brand new. There's just a hot spot right there, but I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about, so I could probably sell this guy. There's the valve cover. So I'm gonna have to go get a crow's foot. If I can't get this exhaust manifold off, I guess I'll have to just keep it on here and reuse this head. But I don't know if I walked you guys through the plan, but this engine would need a lot of work to handle a lot of horsepower. One issue is the crank. These cranks break if you put a single mass flywheel on them. So that over there is a single mass flywheel. So right off the bat, need a different flywheel. But the issue is that this crank was drilled out 5 extra holes. So it comes with 6 holes. It was drilled out 5 extra ones to clamp it tighter and distribute the forces over more bolts. There's nothing wrong with that, and you know that's fine. It works. But if I were to switch flywheels, I would need that other flywheel drilled out with those 5 extra holes, which isn't possible. I mean, it is possible, but it would be so much work. It'd be very difficult. I'd probably be better off just selling this one and then buying a TTRS crank, because those have 8 bolts and they're lighter, which will hold up better at higher PM. It'll also prevent your main bearings from breaking apart. I want to replace the crank. I want a TTRS crank. I would need a different flywheel, different clutch. The transmission will probably not be able to handle all the horsepower and torque, so that will need to be replaced. So I have a transmission in mind, but that's going to be another like probably close to $2,000. The head, everything in the head looks good, so I could just reuse all of that. I would just need to get this stripped down, and while it's all taken apart and cleaned, I would probably get it ported. And then the pistons are, I don't know, I haven't looked at the pistons yet, but they should be fine. The pistons require that the block be bored, so I would need machine work for the boring, and then machine work for something else that breaks at high horsepower. I'm not trying to be super secretive about it, but there's also no need to go into detail about it either. But yeah, there's some other machine work needed to make these reliable at high horsepower. So it's a lot of money. Let's see, I would need a TTRS damper. And then ideally I would get a different exhaust manifold because I do not trust this to get me up to like the 700 or 800 horsepower range. Once I change that, I need a new downpipe and new boost piping. Turbo is going to be sitting on here differently, so my boost piping is probably not going to be lining up anymore. Then I'd probably need a new intercooler setup too. That's what I want to do, a different intercooler setup, because the water to air intercooler is very complicated. Anytime you want to work on the car, you gotta like drain it and stuff. It's annoying. So basically all that stuff is like, I don't know, $7,000 if I do everything myself. And I'm not gonna drop that money right now. Instead, what I'm leaning towards doing is just buying a stock long block, bolting all this stuff onto it, and just running it while I build this one on the side. I can run a 400 something wheel horsepower stock long block for a while and build this one, take my time with it, make sure everything's done correctly, and then once it's all complete, I'll drop it in and I'll turn the boost up and we'll be rocking with like 700 or 800. All right, yeah, so I've been doing a lot of research on these cars, on these engines I should say, and I've been doing a lot of planning, so I haven't really had much time to actually like work on this or edit, but that is the plan for right now, and I think it's a good plan. I really just want to get the car running and driving and just be able to just enjoy it for a while, and I don't want to like rush to get it back together either. But the idea, like the thought of taking my time on this and like doing it the right way and spending all that money right now and like it taking 6 months and all that stuff is kind of, it's just not what I want. So I would much rather be able to enjoy the car, get out there, go to meets and events and everything without me repeating myself over and over. That is the plan. I mean, I can continue disassembling this, but really what I really want to do is just get a stock engine. Auto House has one right now, and just bolt everything onto it. I mean, I think it comes with everything, the one from Auto House. So really all I would need to do is take the intake manifold off, the headers, and swap mine on there, put the turbo on there, and put it back in the car. That's really all that needs to be done. The complication is that so the stock engine, you really want to keep it around 350 foot-pounds at the wheels, which is fine. I mean, you can hit like low 400s at the wheels. So there's two things that are, I don't know if I'd say worrisome, but two things that would kind of hold me back. So one thing is the turbo. So it's a pretty damn big turbo. It's capable of, the other thing that is kind of holding me back about running the stock engine is that they run out of, like, they choke out really hard at high power, at high RPM. Around like 6,000 to 6,500 RPM, the cams, not these, the stock cams are a big limit from what I've seen. Really, that 350 wheel foot-pounds, that could hit 500 wheel horsepower if you can really rev this thing out to like 75 or over 8,000, or just under 500 wheel. But when it chokes out with the cams, it's only going to hit like 400 and, I don't know, 10, 420, something like that. So basically, I had the idea to just run this head on the other block. And it's something I still have to look into, but I'm pretty sure that these cams are too aggressive and the valves are going to hit the pistons. So I don't know, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to try it for myself. So if that is the case, I'm not going to be able to run these cams. I'm going to have to just deal with the stock cams. But yeah, if I can throw this head on a stock bottom end and there's no like piston to valve clearance issues, then that's what I'm going to do. Because then I can really rev this thing out high and I'll hit, high 400s at the wheels. That would be fun for however long this takes. The 6 months or 8 months, however long this takes to build this thing. It's more about the money than the work. Like if I had all the money to do it, I would probably just do it right now. Just do everything. But I don't have that kind of money. The previous owner did include this repair manual, which is nice. So I'm gonna go outside and do some light reading. That kind of sucks. There's a lot of specialty tools, it seems like, that you need. And by a lot, I mean like 2. But yeah, I'm gonna have to invest in some of these tools. Like, I think there was one for locking the cams in. I'm not sure if it works on the aftermarket ones. And then this guy might actually be necessary to put it at top dead center. I don't know. I'm learning. I'm out here learning. That's why I'm out here. And I'm gonna pass that knowledge on to you guys. So they really want you to hold the damper in place when you're taking the damper bolts out for the crankshaft, or else they say that severe engine damage can occur or valve timing may change if the crankshaft is moved out of the top dead center position while the crankshaft pulley is removed. I don't understand that. Why would the crankshaft pulley have anything to do with your valve timing? I mean, I'll follow the instructions,